zone is about 110 kilometers away from Kyiv, so it's about 1 hour and a half of a drive, depends on traffic, sometimes up to 2 hours. That means we've got up to 2 hours of a time to talk about what worries you, to talk about radiation. We should use that time to talk about the rules, how to behave in the exclusion zone to be safe. Even though it is really safe to visit Chernobyl exclusion zone, it is safe if you follow very simple rules. They are simple, but it's very important to follow them, to stay alive and to come back. And there are two types of safety that we have to follow. That is radiation safety, and that is physical safety. So on the way to the exclusion zone, I will tell you what is the rules, how to behave to be safe. What I promise is that today you will get unforgettable experience. Welcome inside to the Chernobyl district, the district that does not exist on the map anymore. We lost that territory forever. It is occupied now by radiation, and we gave it back to nature. The Soviets were very proud of what they were building here. That is a sunflower, one of the symbols of Ukraine, but here you see it looks like the core of the reactor above the cranes that are building, and here are the cooling towers of the nuclear power plant. Here we are at the checkpoint Dytiatky. That is the official entrance to the Chernobyl exclusion zone. That is a restricted area. The whole area is restricted, so you can't just come and enter wherever you want. You need a guide. You need a tour guide who knows where you should go, where you should never go, and what are the safety rules that you need to follow to be safe inside of that contaminated area. So let's begin. At the checkpoint, you are given an electronic ticket with the information. You will have to show that ticket to the police officer with your passport, and as well you are given such a small device that is the accumulator of radiation. So that is mandatory for each person who enters the exclusion zone. In the end of the day, you give it back, and they will check how much radiation you accumulate for the whole day in Chernobyl. So in the end, I will tell you how much, what is the dose that you accumulate. As well, when you enter exclusion zone, the thing that the guide will have is the Geiger counter that will show you the level of radiation at each step of your trip, and I will tell you how to use it. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations! We entered the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Quite often people have some expectations. They expect to see deserted landscape, but what you see, the beautiful nature, forest, it's not empty, it's full of life, it's full of wild animals. And you see, Chernobyl exclusion zone has many faces, and one of those faces is the Chernobyl Natural Reserve, and that is one of the biggest in Europe. So all that is the village. That is the village Zalissya, and we can't see any buildings around us only because it is completely overgrown. Nature takes it back. This is one of the few roads that is not overgrown, and let's go and see what we have here. The village is 18 kilometers away from the nuclear power plant. It was evacuated after the accident. That was the biggest village of that area with a population of 3,000 people. Here we have 1,000 households. It feels like you are in the forest, and you can smell it, the smell of the forest. It's hard to believe, but back in the days, here were beautiful gardens, flower beds, nice houses of people. The first building to the left is the hospital, the local hospital where people could receive the first aid. That is one of the residential houses. That building is quite in a good condition. It's made of bricks. But if you look inside of that house, inside is completely empty. Not because people had time to take everything away, absolutely. When they were leaving this place, they thought they were leaving for just a couple of weeks and they hoped to come back, but they never came back. The reason why the house is empty, there are some, remains of their life, but in general, the buildings are empty, and that was because of liquidation. So when people were evacuated, later liquidators were coming here for decontamination process. So in fact, what they had to do is to remove most of the stuff from inside the homes, the houses, and take it to the burial site, simply just to bury into the soil, because all that things inside were potentially contaminated, and they just didn't have time, to check every single thing here for contamination. So the idea was to get rid of everything, just to take it away. Later, there were looters who were coming here to take, wood and what remained here. Even in some buildings, even the floors are removed. That is one of the homes here. That smaller building is the local farm, like a stable for the domestic animals. And you see, that was all the treasure that people had. They didn't have much money, but their domestic animals, what was something that they relied on, and the gardens where they were gardening, and people couldn't take that all with them when liquidation happened. Yeah, they had to just leave everything behind. There is like a small exhibition here. You see, many of the things, they are ruined by the weather, by the time. Some of the artifacts, we try to save it and we keep it somewhere. So yeah, it looks like it is staged, but all these things, they are original. They are from here. That is the exercise book that belongs to the local girl who lived in this house. These are the photographs, and that is the toy. That is Cheburashka. Cheburashka is the hero of the Soviet cartoon, and all Soviet kids knew him, and many of Soviet kids had the same toy. And now just stop for a minute and listen. Do you hear the silence? The birds are singing. It's amazing. Yeah?